Today, I want to share the three essentials of journaling that have completely shaped my journaling journey. In this video, I'll go through goal setting, planning, money management, and how these affect my productivity, manifested mindset. Hi, my name is Briella. On this channel, I share journaling tips, planning strategies, and inspiration to help you stay organized, grow, and truly enjoy your life. So, why these three? I think because these three really covers your past, present, and future, where you can understand your true self deeper. Let's start with goal setting. There are a lot of strategies out there: smart goals, hard goals, backwards planning, but I'm not going to talk about those strategies here. I'm going to share what actually worked for me, and I've done it, which means you can absolutely do it too. When I started journaling, I used to have 10 different new goals each year. To be honest, I felt really overwhelmed, although I didn't know it ended up being like that at the end. So I started chasing one another each month to just to see like any goals was achieved. But you can imagine that like just to achieve a goal, it needs a lot of like energy, a lot of commitment, time, and effort. But I didn't see it. I just like set the goal and then just leave it there. I just didn't commit enough to achieve any of those goals. So, for example, if you look at this, my 2023 goals, I set 10 different goals, which was, I mean, to be honest, back then I thought it worked for me, but over time I reduced these goals less than five. So this year, 2025, I set my goals like just four of these. It was way better just to have less goals and I can narrow down what I really need to focus so I can spare my energy and my time to just actually achieve any of these goals. One of the things I learned that to have less goals is if everything is priority, nothing is really. Focusing on fewer goals gives me more energy and time to make room to actually achieve them. Another thing is I have also added the category of each goals so I can balance out for setting the new goals. For example, I have a goal in relationship. I have another goal in my business and career, and I have a goal for my mental health or fitness. So with this way, I can generally improve a lot in a broader perspective. I don't want to just, go with all in one for this year. Another thing that I have started this year is to add my keywords and my mantra, which I found it very powerful to have. So when I had panic attack about 3 years ago, these simple words became my anchor and really saved me to be back on my feet again. Sometimes just reading these words makes me really calm down and remind me of why I keep pushing myself forward. Here's an example. I know it's easy to start a new thing for me because I'm good at taking an action, but it's really hard for me to keep it going. So I set consistency as one of my keywords for this year. So whenever I go back to the page of the keyword, it reminds me of the direction of this year. What is the priority? What do I need to focus on? I also drew a small symbol for the keyword so it remains longer and clearer in my mind. So for example, the consistency, I put the arrow going to the same direction, like a multiple arrows like this. You can see the consistency is like, okay, keep it going, don't give up, you're doing great, something like that. And another example is just health. I just drew the biceps is like that, and also a little bit of like the pop up from the head. It's for my mental health as well. And you can see there's a mantra. Read this every morning out loud. I trust myself, and I have birthright to have what I desire, something like that. It's just for something works really well. I sometimes, when I have really hard time, I look into mirror and read this out loud. This actually really helps, makes me start reading books about cognitive behavior and the power of mindset, sort of that, how my own belief can shape my attitude, perspective, and my thoughts, which I believe lead to the entire different outcomes. Okay, so now on to the next part, actual journaling, which is very exciting. I think doing the journaling is actually to gather your data. This is very unique moment that you fill up your notebook with a full of your own style of writing, decorating, etc. You can basically write down anything you want to. The beauty of writing is to enable you to find your pattern reoccurring thoughts which come and go. You can also seize an idea which you can turn it into something inspiring you to keep you going to achieve your goals. So when I do my journal, each of the beginning of week, it's Monday for me, I write down everything like appointments, deadlines, to-do list, what's the priority, right? For example, when I write down appointments, where the meeting is at, and I actually look up on my Google map how I can get there. I also write down what's the priority this week. For example, I read a book a lot last week, so I didn't spare enough time to output to make my YouTube videos. Then I write down output as my code with a small reminder. The weekly priority gives me a direction that I can adjust my energy to put in the right direction so I don't end up being lost. I also write down to-do list and deadline just to make sure I don't miss anything important. Then at the end of the week, I take a few minutes to review the things I've done. It's easy to see them because I've been doing the journal every day. I track my mood, I notice patterns like what's draining me, what's helping me, and I take a moment to have a reflections. Those few minutes of reviewing are powerful. That's where I see what I can improve and where I sometimes uncover the little habits holding me back. And then there's the part that I love to talk about is money. Being financially independent is part of becoming a real adult. It's really important that you need to understand it's not about how much you make, but how much awareness you have about your spending. When I was in uni, my parents financially supported me. They paid my rent, my tuition fee, and gave me extra like living expenses for food, books, and stationery that I need for study. And honestly, I had zero sense of money back then. Every week I bought new clothes, ordered delivery, and spent money like it would magically refill. I had no idea how hard to make living on my own. One day, I checked my bank account, expecting at least there's like $100 left, but I was so shocked. I realized there's only $5. I was 22. I was too ashamed to ask my parents for more, so I ate instant noodle for like 5 days until the next paycheck from my part-time job. That's when it hit me hard. I needed to change. And that's where my money journaling began for me. I mean, I didn't track down every single spending, but it was more like about awareness and started thinking about mine spending. That was a big step for me. Just aware that how much I have to spend each week, something like that. Now it's not just about saving or budgeting, it's about supporting my dreams and giving my future a safety net. I use both an app and physical journal to track my spending, but honestly, I prefer an analog way. Writing numbers by hand makes it real. I track my expenses, my income, and I always write a short note about why I spend on something and how I can improve a little bit more. So over time, this helped me stop spending without thinking. But the point is, money journaling isn't about restriction. I've restricted so much before, but it always exploded after a couple of months doing this. The bad ending led me to just blow my money to buy cheap, trendy clothes because I felt behind of the trend. I mean, it's about making space for experiences and safety you actually want in your life. One of the reasons why I love journaling is that you can get the confidence from seeing your small achievement that you thought they were impossible to be accomplished. Stacking this small growth in your life, you feel assurance that you can keep growing by looking back on your past. It helps you focus on what matters right now so you can actually take steps forward for those bigger goals. So, those are the three compartments that change everything for me: goal setting, actual journaling, and money management. If you want more inspiration and practical advices on journaling, don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments which of these three do you think most important and what do you want to hear about more. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you on the next video.